Hello and welcome back to Tommy's Top Picks Weekly Roundup Podcast, episode 60. I'm your host, Tommy. This week, joined by Gary, Mr.
Hello.
Viz, the Pillow Man himself.
Hi. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be on. We've been buds for a while now.
I know. It's been a long time coming. We're at episode 60 here, and we just hit a couple minutes ago 500 subscribers on the YouTube channel, which
That's so
is
great.
super
Congrats.
awesome,
Yeah.
super exciting. So if you are a new subscriber, because we have had a new influx of subscribers, um, this is the podcast where we usually just ramble about whatever we feel like rambling for the week. This week, it's how do you keep your collection organized? That can mean a lot of things. We're going to talk about and ramble about a lot of things about keeping your collection organized and how you have it organized and how you would prefer it to be organized.
I got a lot
Um,
for that second one. So
yeah, me too. But yeah, so we talk about a lot of games here. This week is probably going to be mainly Flesh and Blood, but there's going to be some Magic as well and some Pokemon as well. So yeah, I guess let's get into it. Gary, do you want to introduce yourself?
yeah. So hi, my name's Gary. I'm on the internet. I go by Mr. Viz. Mr. spelled out VIZ. I am primarily a Flesh and Blood player. I play a little bit of Magic. I collect Pokemon as well, but I don't really play the game much. I love the character from Flesh and Blood, Viscerai, hence the name Mr. Viz. This is very evident in if you've ever played a card game against me. I play with everything purple. Viscera is like this dark purple, like basically a magic cyborg. I
Hmm.
love him. He's my favorite character in pretty much all of the card games I've ever played. Close to Fairy is a close second.
Okay.
But yeah, so Viscerai is my favorite character, and I kind of steer into that a bit. I've got a body pillow that I was gifted that I did not purchase. Um, but yeah, so if you ever see me at a Flesh and Blood event, I'm probably the guy wearing all purple and carrying a pillow with a Dark Knight on it. So
It is
um,
hard to miss.
very hard to miss. Yeah, I
It makes it super
do.
easy finding you, which is
Yeah,
very nice.
it, yeah, it's great. I mean, I'm happy to be the beacon.
It's like where's
Um,
where's the squad at? Oh, there's
yeah,
the pillow.
yeah, big giant purple backpack and giant purple pillow. But yeah, I do a show on Wednesdays on YouTube with my other friend Tom, called the
Only
Bud Rush.
Toms.
Only Toms. I only
All will
talk to
be
Toms.
all will be
Yeah,
Tom.
all will be Tom, and some will be Tommy. But I do a show on Wednesdays on YouTube called the Bud Rush Bellow with my friend Tommy Fresh for the Fresh and Buds podcast. If you're involved in the Flesh and Blood community, you might be familiar with that podcast. Kind of
Absolutely.
an interview show. Kind of like you guys just kind of talk a bit.
Yeah.
What Tom's main show on is basically just interviewing different Flesh and Blood guests, kind of talking to them and seeing what their experience with the game is like. And then on Wednesdays, we basically just do what you guys do on Sundays is we just
Yeah.
talk to each other for an hour. We kind of just joke around and interact with chat a bit. It's a great time. Very bud focused. We're all hanging out as buds. That's the concept.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's kind of my plug. That's kind of what I do. I spend a lot of time in the Fresh and Buds Discord that we're called the Buds. We all play a bunch of different games and hang out. Kind of very similar to the Tommy's Top Picks community. Got a
Yeah,
wide
I'm in there.
range.
I'm in the
Not
Fresh and
not
Buds Discord.
Yeah, we're not hard focused in the Flesh and Blood. If you want to play Flesh and Blood, we're all willing to do it. But there's a lot of different games in the world, and I really think that focusing on one game is not the best strategy. And I think that you guys and the Tommy's Top Picks channel is great at helping people figure out what all kinds of games that they like.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can be involved in different games at different capacities, and that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a number one tenet of my life.
Yeah.
Involve yourself in many games at many different levels.
Yeah, exactly. Some you can go more casually, some you can be more competitive.
Yeah,
There are
I
no
was.
right and
Yeah,
wrong answers.
I was very competitive with Magic, and then I slowly moved to more of the casual commander side of it.
Mhm.
And so it's really interesting seeing the different levels of involvement
Yeah,
across different types of games. Yeah.
Commander is pretty much the only Magic I play nowadays. And I do enjoy the IP and the game,
Hmm.
but I think the main reason I play it is because of the politics aspect of it and just
Yeah.
playing in a group setting. So
Oh yeah.
has me
It's
very
a it's
excited for PvE Flesh and Blood. But
Oh yeah, I can't wait. We could go on. I could go on for hours
that
about
could be a whole
PvE. Yeah,
podcast.
yeah.
But before we get too into it, I want to go over some house cleaning. If you want to support the channel, well, first of all, you should, if you have wrapping up Fresh and Buds, if you have not gone over there and subscribed, please do. It's a great channel, great guys, great buds. They have a great Discord as well, so make sure you join that and get involved in their community because they're just a bunch of good buds.
Absolutely.
But
Appreciate the plug.
oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah, I feel part of that community as well. Um, but uh, you can also join our Discord and our Patreon. We have that. If you want to support our channel, there's the Patreon, which gives you access to the Discord. And we also, John and I, have recently opened up a TCG player store. So if you want to buy
Cool.
cards directly from us and support the channel in doing so, there's a link in the description for both those things. And I'll put a link to the Fresh and Buds YouTube channel as well. So you guys can
Awesome.
go click
Thanks.
that and go give them a sub as well. Get them. But so Gary, how was your week? We've both had very busy weeks, I know.
Yeah, my week was not very card focused. I worked a bit. But I've been playing a lot of Talshar,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is people who might not know what Talshar is, but it's basically the online version of playing Flesh and Blood. And I've been playing one deck only. It's the OTK chain deck. I've been
Oh,
I've
it's
been
so
loving it.
gross.
It's so
So
gross.
gross.
It's so fun for me. I don't know how fun it is for you,
It no, it
but
is. It is. It's kind of like and very fitting for it's a very looming doom kind of
yes,
deck where you're just like,
Mhm.
how much time do I have? Because
Yep.
like you have the first 3 turns. Like you're not
Oh
gonna
yeah,
but how defensive that deck can be and how block efficient it can be is surprising and will throw you off guard,
yeah.
especially in the blitz setting. I mean, Carrion Husk, hell of a card.
Oh, oh yeah. Carrion Husk is a hell of a card. Yeah, basically this is a control deck that plays a surprising control deck hidden behind a hero that usually plays very aggressive.
Yeah.
And the concept is you're sitting there blocking out, making your opponent waste all their power cards while you make rune chants, which deal arcane damage to your opponent and kill them basically on turn 9 or 10. And if you're dash, you just don't have a deck left. But
Yeah.
we'll leave that to anybody who plays against me in the future. But yeah, I've been just hanging out. It's MagicCon this weekend, so I haven't been going, but I did hang out with a few friends, played a little bit of Magic, some EDH on Thursday night,
Nice.
and then I went to some dinner with people in town for MagicCon. I'm gonna draft later tonight, some Flesh and Blood. But yeah,
Hey,
I've been keeping busy. Big school project coming up. Survey about steak sauce. So got to.
do you need more
No,
applicants?
I
I can
do
put
I
that in.
do, but it's not. I'm not gonna plug it here. It's
I
just
can put the link in the description if
go
people
for
want to
it. I
talk
would
about
love
their
it.
favorite sauce
Yes, I have a
and help
survey
Gary.
that's
Yeah.
going
Fill out
out
a
about
survey
their
about your
favorite
favorite
sauce.
sauce. Yeah.
That was a great time to see everybody kind of co-opt that on Twitter this week.
Oh, it was a blast. Yeah, I had fun.
um, but yeah, I've just been gotten really excited for Pro Tour. I saw the playmat,
Yep,
the
puts the
the
heart.
Arcanite Shard playmat. Oh gosh, so can't I cannot wait for Baltimore Pro Tour. I've been
Yeah, it's
working
coming
out my
up.
trades, but how about you? What have you been doing?
I opened a box of Phyrexia All Will Be One draft last night.
Oh, nice.
And
How was that?
yeah, so my wife expressed interest in the set, so I hopped on that real quick and decided to get a draft box to build 2 decks. So I'm building a black green and a blue white, and blue white's very artifact focused, which is super cool, and it's kind of aggressive.
Hmm.
And then the black green is very toxic focused.
Gotcha. Did you get any of that Rot Priest?
No,
Oh, that guy's nuts.
no, but I got the Jace the Perfected Mind,
Mm. Oh, that's beautiful. That card is
Drivnod Carnage Dominus, Zoppendrol Hunger Dominus. So two of the Dominuses, both in black green, which is exciting. And then the Sword of Forge and Frontier, which is just wild.
yeah. That card's insane.
But yeah, so had some nothing like no crazy pulls, but the amount, I don't know. It's been a while since I've opened a draft box. Like I've been opening a lot of set and collectors,
I see.
and it's so nice just to have just a bunch of rares to build with. Like in this
Yeah.
situation, because it's like it's just to build decks and play with. And it's also so nice to have only just like a handful of foils because with magic cards, I prefer
Oh yeah.
non-foil. So just getting a bunch of bulk non-foil was really nice
Yeah, that's a good point.
because you open a collector's box and everything's foil, and then everything starts to curve 30 seconds
Yeah.
after being out of the pack.
At least you got lunch, you got some Pringles
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
So.
But yeah, so working on those two decks, so that'll be fun. And then I ordered a bunch of singles.
Oh,
The
nice.
spoils. So John talked about it in this week's market update, and the next two market updates will be from me. So sorry in advance. I'm not John. I have no microeconomic discussions to plant into these marketing updates, but they'll be fun. There'll be a twist. But yeah, so we talked about rainbow foils of the first three sets are really being bought up of Welcome to Wraith, Arcane Rising, and Crucible War. Like almost every take a look at the Majestics and take a look at the rare or
Supers?
supers, yeah,
Yeah.
and the super rares, and they're disappearing. Like I picked up, so I'm trying to bling out my Dory deck, and so I
Nice.
picked up Spoils of War and Glint the Quicksilver rainbow foils. They're just when I went to order them, I think I was the last one that had 3 available
Oh wow.
because I wanted playsets of them.
Yeah.
And it's
Gotta keep the Dory and the Kasai deck separate, right?
exactly, and now I have the amount you knew exactly where that was going. So
Yeah.
when Gary and I play, I've been having my Dory and Kasai deck in my dual deck box. And so these are a couple of the cards that I needed duplicates of. Because they are in both decks. And so it's a win-win because now I get to bling out Dory and I now have enough copies for both decks. So I don't have to switch them back and forth.
Nice. Yeah, now I won't feel bad for asking you to play a game of Blitz on CC night.
Yeah, I can just pull it out. It'll be
Yeah.
good. I'm
That's
excited.
great though. Yeah, that's a good list. Anything else?
My sleeping Pikachus.
Oh yeah.
So I have a sleeping Pikachu binder, a binder specifically for this one alt art Pikachu that's sleeping with a trainer from Legends Arceus, and it is now up to 20. So it's 160 slot binder. It is up to
Keep it
20.
going. Keep grinding.
I I look at that. I look at what is available on TCG Player every day, and every day there's a couple that are like 2 or 3 that are like just under 4 or 5 or like 5, 6. It's starting to go up, so I'm getting a little nervous. But
Hey,
we
you
see.
got the supply, so you're good.
I'm at 20, yeah. Am I at 160? No. Will I be? Maybe. We'll find out.
We'll see.
Um,
Um,
but yeah, I don't know. The the experiment will go on.
yeah, I can't wait to see it. I honestly like
It's just this.
I love Pokemon.
Yeah,
I'm a huge proponent of the Pokemon
yeah.
IP. I think I think the card game is like it's pretty fun. But like I know you love it, and
I mean,
I like
it's
to
one of
play it
those
as
things
well.
where I get really into it for a couple of weeks and then
Yeah.
I bounce out, and then
Oh
because
yeah.
it's just the same meta. It's kind of
Yeah. The
like with
Lugia meta.
yeah, Lugia's busted right now.
Yeah.
Like
The
there's like
cards
2 or 3
are
different
just
versions of them of the Lugia
yeah.
deck that are all just top tier.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like like the cards. They're beautiful. Like they
Oh,
do a great
absolutely.
job. Like Crown Zenith was unreal. The Brilliant Stars with with all the Gary Oak.
Hmm.
I have all of those graded because
Nice, nice.
I'm very into the characters that I like.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
but yeah, I guess so. This week I did order a few cards. I usually just buy on like the Discord marketplace,
Yeah.
but I did buy some on TCG because I was trying to fill out my collection of um, extended art Runeblood incantations, not as a spec or anything,
No,
just
for
because
your deck.
I play I play six of those in pretty much every deck I play. So
Yeah.
I just want to have use like 20 or
Oh,
30
absolutely.
different ones. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean,
Um
I think there is like a fear of like these collectibles are that are like not worth anything, not being worth something. So like if there are things out there that you want or like for
oh
decks
yeah,
that you play that you might want to bring out later, take a look at them. If they're a couple of bucks, maybe just pull the trigger and grab them. Not financial advice,
absolutely.
but it's just one of
Yeah.
those things where we are noticing a trend, and one of the things on this podcast that we discuss are the trends, and that
Yeah.
it at first was like, is it a blip? Is it
Hmm.
uh what is this, or is this like what's going on? But now it's kind of clear. Then there's purchases every day, and these things are disappearing and not coming back onto the market.
Yeah. I found that not a lot of sellers have multiple copies of like these extended art stuff.
They're not
These
easy to
extended art,
pull.
yeah, they're not easy to pull. So it's like actually buying someone TCG player is pretty expensive
Hmm.
because it's like, oh, I gotta buy $5 of stuff from you to get $3 shipping, and then I basically have to have to order. I'm trying to buy two yellow extended art cards, and I end up with cold foils in the cart. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I actually picked up a lot of Monarch cold foils this week.
Nice, nice,
I picked up like a Gallantry Gold. I picked up an Evenfold because I also picked up a Chain cold foil promo
nice.
for my deck
Yeah,
mainly.
yeah.
But I was really noticing that Monarch is a little bit undervalued right now.
I think, I mean, it has a
For
stigma.
good reason.
I don't
For
think
good
it's,
reason.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
one, I
I
don't think it's broken the stigma. Two,
right.
it has two heroes that are living legend. And
Right.
three, Flesh and Blood is a player's market
Yeah.
until now when collectibles are a thing. But if you notice,
Yeah.
it's the collectibles that are playable.
Exactly. Right. Like, and I mean, like when I say like Gallantry Gold and Evenfold, like those are $10.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like that's first edition Monarch cold foil common. That's $10. I mean,
yeah.
that's
That's not
like
bad.
not bad at all. Like I also paid that for like the two legendaries. I got an Emperor and I got a Spirit of Arena for 11 $10 each too. So it's like, you know, like when I buy cards, I'm either buying because I want to hoard them for multiple decks, and if new players want to borrow them,
Right.
or I'm trying to bling out specific cards like Evenfold or Chain.
I mean,
Yeah,
Flesh and Blood allows itself for bling culture,
yeah, I I really
and
like
it's
the
fun to
idea.
do.
Yeah, I'm seeing in this order three cold foil and Knolls of stuff of Sutcliffe too. I mean, that makes sense. How was I going to pass those up?
Right,
But
right.
you know, but yeah, that's the stuff I bought this week. I just kind of went a bit random and picked up a few random things. I made a trade. I picked up a Marvel Icelander from a friend. Um, but yeah, I tend to look at things that are undervalued, and I say, how collectible is this? Kind of like what you were saying earlier, and I say,
Hmm.
is this if this is pretty collectible? There's no reason I shouldn't have a few maybe.
Right.
Being young, it's not they're not very expensive. My big white whale that I'm gonna be working on a trade for at Pro Tour is a Demonastery playmat. So
A
that's a early it's an early spoiler for the Tommy's Top Pick listeners. So when you see that at the LGS, it'll be a big one for me.
There we go.
But yeah. Um yeah, so what did you play this week?
We played a game of Blitz. I was
Yeah.
on Kasai. You were on your chain. I
I think it was
have
at
since
one, right?
reworked my Kasai. What?
I think I won the game, but I was at one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was a close game. It was a close game. It
Yeah.
was fun. Um, yeah, I mean, I've reworked Kasai. I was doing some research last night, looking at a couple deck lists, and decided against it, but have also moved back away from Royal.
Mm.
So
Interesting.
I think just having that extra block is that more important, and it's kind of like a win more button where I feel like
Royal?
every royal, like having
Yeah,
the cash in and having that it gains an early tempo. It can, but it also can just whiff
gotcha.
and just not really add anything to your hand. And then if it doesn't add anything to your hand, then you're just not drawing more at the end of your turn. So because you
Yeah,
don't have anything to like dump the resources into.
right. You're trying to just increase your chances of drawing a go again card. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? To
Yeah.
try and make that turn wider rather than actually like helping you, and it's like the different phases of the game, right? That
Right. Or
that
another
theory.
attack reaction or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I play very heavily into the different phases of the game theory.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah, and I think I see where you're going with that. Do we playing Arcanite or you playing Crown?
Crown, or it depends on the matchup.
Gotcha.
Yeah. If
Yeah,
breakpoints are like a big thing, like into Guardian, I would probably play Arknight.
yeah, makes
But
sense.
into everything else, like aggro and stuff, I'd probably play Crown just because the hand correction's really important. And then,
Yeah.
so I also added 2 sync blows for that,
Mm.
for a similar purpose kind of a thing. Because I've also noticed that I had gotten away and had no defense reactions. So having one, adding a pair of defense reactions and having it also being able to help filter for a go again if I need it. I don't know.
Yeah,
Seems good.
that's a good point.
We'll
Yeah,
test in February.
yeah, I find that playing against Warrior, it's like when I haven't played Warrior. I
Mhm.
I feel like I would really be really into playing Warrior if I'd
It's a
started on it.
lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. It's similar to Runeblade, and it relies on the draw. Like you could
Yeah.
literally have just a really really bad hand, but at least with Warrior you have like very weapon focused things. So like you always have some amount of damage,
Right, right.
which is really nice, and all your cards block for 3. So it's like it's a little bit more of a more defensive than Runeblade, and the whiff hands are a little bit easier to deal with.
Yeah. Yeah, and there are ways to correct it
Yep.
and, like, fallbacks, like, if you, refraction bolters over that's another thing I'm going back and forth between. I added some more go again as well, so I don't think I need refraction bolters, and I think Valiant
Mm.
Dynamo just the value of that in Blitz,
Oh
getting that
yeah,
1 block every turn
absolutely. Yeah,
is just
that's a great
it's a
card.
lot of health
Yeah,
over a
it's
game.
a lot. Yeah.
Um, but then I played CC on Dory, came in second, so felt pretty good about that.
Oh, nice. Congrats. Who
Thank you,
won?
thank
Did
you.
Emily win?
No, Eli.
Eli? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It was a close game. I think I got him to it was under 3. And it
Mm.
was very back and forth, and like it's one of those things where that's why I love this game is just those kind of back and forth trading tempo. Oh, it looks like one person's going to take it. Nope, big turn, switch over and then back like the tempo shifted like 3 or 4 times during the game,
Yeah,
which
that's
was
really
awesome.
great, especially when you're not playing a game that like has permanence. Like
Right.
permanence make tempo so difficult to regain.
Right.
Um, and that's why Dromai and
Dromai.
Prism sometimes, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, some Dromai and Prism can sometimes just like absolutely overpower you with board presence, and
Yeah.
then once that happens, you just lose the game, which is why Guardian has such a hard time with them.
Right.
But so yeah, in a game that with no permanence, having playing 2 decks that don't have permanence, the tempo is fluid. The viscosity of the tempo is flowing.
Yeah. Yeah.
but but yeah,
You have to take
that-
tempo.
yeah, you do.
But I don't know. It was a lot of fun. And then there are just turns where like Lexi has the I was playing against Lexi,
Mm.
and there's turns where no matter what I do, she can rip all the cards out of my hand,
Yeah.
and then I can't even swing, and then I lose all my counters.
Yep.
So then it's back to square. So like she won't try and block you out until you're at like 2 counters. So she
Yeah.
won't she'll hold the one hand, try and do as much damage, block, and then come back the second time. Um,
Yeah.
but
Eli's really good at Lexi too.
true,
He's
very
figured it out. He's figured out
absolutely,
the ratio of not dying to whiffs.
yeah, yeah. But it was fun. It's a good game. It's a good matchup, I mean. But
Yeah.
then let's see. I also played some Pokemon Live this week. It was fine. It was mainly just more Lugia, and then I got bored.
Yeah.
I log on. What's really nice is like the daily quest system. You can get done in like 2, 3 games,
Yeah, that's
and the
nice.
games are really quick. So I log on, do that, hop off. Um, Also got sucked into some video games this week.
Oh
Played
yeah, I
some
got to play.
Vermintide,
Oh, Vermintide.
Vermintide
Okay.
2. So we've been we were really big Vermintide 2 players, and then we went over to Darktide when that came out, and it's just been kind of disappointing.
Hmm.
So we switched back and have been having a lot of fun with that. But Darktide recently made an announcement that they are making a bunch of updates to make it more like Vermintide 2 and have
Hmm.
everything that they actually promised would be in at launch. So that's super exciting.
Oh,
So
that's
that should
great.
be out soon. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Paige has mainly been playing a lot of video games because she plays that Disney Dreamlight Valley game. They got an update this week.
Sweet.
And we played I don't know if you've ever played this game called Escape Academy or you've heard of it. It's like
It sounds familiar.
it's an indie game. It's on Game Pass. That's where
Okay.
we play it. And it basically is just an escape the room game, but it's simple, like it's simple in a good way, right? Like it's not like convoluted where you're like, there's it's the gameplay is like, okay, you go into this room and then you try and figure it out.
Right.
Paige and I don't have a lot of shared interests when it comes to like video games. Like she likes to play like the Lego games and likes to play, a lot of the cozy games. I'm not
Yeah.
big
Yeah.
into cozy games, but we found that this game is a great one for
Nice.
just like couples who just want to, do a co-op game, but not get super quarterbacky.
Sure.
Sometimes when you play co-op games, it can get super quarterbacky. One person's driving the whole time, but
Right. Right.
it's a really nice co-op game, and it's free on Game Pass. So it's like, oh, um, highly recommend. It's just a little escape the room game. If you like little puzzles, they do a good job at making it a digestible, easy, not easy puzzle game, but easy to get into.
Right. Cool. I'll have to check it out. Then the last thing this week, we had our top 5 comics video. If you're not familiar, we also do comic books, or I do comic books, over on Tommy's Top Shelf Comics. It's a new channel that we made. We used to do the comics on this channel, but then we moved it over there. So the comics are on their own thing. I do that with Murphy. It's a lot of fun. The top 5 comics for this week were in number 5, Fantastic Four, number 4. Number 4 was Batgirls
Sorry,
15.
sorry,
Yeah,
that's
Fantastic
so
Four, number
funny.
4.
Yeah,
And then we almost made it number 4 just for that.
yeah,
Nemesis Reloaded number 2 was number 3. Torrent number 1 was number 4 or number 2. And The Last Barbarians is number 1. Last Barbarians 1 is number 1.
cool.
Super cool indie books this week. And I've also really been enjoying Batgirls, and Murphy's been enjoying Fantastic Four. So if you want to hear more about those comics, make sure you go check out Tommy's Top Shelf Comics. Give it a listen. Every week we put up what we think is the top 5 comics that you should read, pick up, speculate on, whatever, for the week. But without further ado, let's get to our main topic. How do you keep your collection organized?
Yeah.
So, like
Well,
we said, there's going to be 2 parts to this. One is how is it currently organized? And 2, how would you like it to be organized? Organizing is never done.
no, it's never done. It's always halfway started.
Yeah,
Um,
halfway
what
started.
are
Not halfway finished, halfway started.
no, yeah, exactly. Um, in our house, they have a really bad trend of saying, "Oh, I'm gonna go upstairs and organize," and then like my room is significantly worse than it was when I started. Because it's like, oh, I gotta figure out where all these decks are, so um, I know where the cards are when I need them easily, right? Well,
Right.
I so the way our house is kind of set up is I have like kind of a nerd room,
Yeah.
which is just one room that has all my cards and board games and all that stuff in it. Where it's where my computer is, so it's like my little fortress of solitude.
Yeah.
Um, but It's got cards everywhere. I've got some built-in shelves with board games on them, and they're pretty well organized. I think I have them sorted. But I did go through those and sort them by player count.
Nice.
Um, so that way I was able to like, oh, if we have 5 people, I can,
That's a handy way to sort them.
yeah. It was difficult because you only have so much shelf space.
And they're all
So
very different sizes.
they're all very different sizes. So it doesn't look very organized, but it's organized in a way that's helpful for me. I've also got my top shelf, which has all of my favorites in there. So those are completely separate from that organization. Um,
Does it have comics on it?
it does not actually. It has Pokemon Adventures, the manga. Um,
You need a comic for your
I
top
know,
shelf.
I know. I do have some comic books, but I don't. I'm not a big reader. Um, I did buy all of that the Deadpool Choose Your Own Adventure because I loved
Oh,
that
nice.
concept.
Nice.
Yeah, I have all of those because those that concept for me was like, oh, I love this. They
Yeah,
basically
yeah.
made Choose Your Own Adventure series of comic books that you have to buy every week, but you don't actually know what the whole story is until you buy all of them. And I
Yep.
thought that that was like such a cool way to do comics that they might do that a lot. I don't know. I'm
No,
not too
no,
into
no,
it,
that was
but
pretty unique.
that was I really fell in love with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, my top shelf does not have comics like Tommy's top shelf. But um yeah, and then underneath the shelves I have like the row cardboard boxes and some bins with my decks in them.
Yep.
I've got a 12 row, a 12 shelf thing of the BCW cardboard, but then I also have been recently transitioning to the gray plastic ones.
Yeah,
Those
yeah,
are fantastic. I don't
yeah.
know if you seen them? You just watched videos on them?
I have them. I use them.
Oh, you have them? Oh
Yeah.
yeah, they're so
We'll
great.
get
Yeah.
into it. Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, they're amazing. I kind of need to just like get rid of all of my magic bulk though because the gray bins are not under the shelf. They're on if you could see my video right now, they're
Those
right
bins
behind
get
me.
heavy, though.
They get heavy. Yeah. I've got 4 stacked up.
Okay.
Um so and there's pretty well those are pretty well sorted until Uprising came out and then I
Yeah.
just threw all of my Uprising bulk into one. So I really gotta I really gotta
That's
figure that
exactly where mine is. Everything's organized up until
out.
Uprising.
Yeah, and then I've got a playmat, a large playmat collection. That I got one of the rollers, kind of like you recommended the rollers to me,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
Paige didn't want me to put them on the door because there's a lot of heavy. They're very heavy and didn't want the door to come out of the hinge.
That's
So
fair.
I've got those kind of rolled up on on like a shelf as
Mhm.
well. So it's like, oh, I see. I like the organization of like the vinyl tube holder though, so they're in that holder. They're
Right.
just laying down,
Yeah, I think that's
which
fair.
I found to be actually a great solution because I get to like look through them and I just to pull one out of the pile, you
Yeah.
know.
It makes it you can pick
Um,
it up easier as, like, a thing
yes,
instead of
yeah, like a single playmat rather
yeah.
than like trying to figure out where it is on the thing. I can just like scroll through the little parchment scrolls
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
on the shelf. Um, but yeah, that's kind of how I have most of my collection organized. I've got this couch in my office that has like a bit under bins that I keep all my video games in. So like my physical video games, I
Nice.
have like the cartridges and all that stuff in there. So like and oh, my amiibos. I forgot to talk about my amiibo collection. That is something that I heavily collect.
Nice.
I don't know if you've talked about amiibos ever
No, I
on this
have
channel.
1.
Oh, you have one?
I have the Twilight Princess Zelda one.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's a great one. Yeah, the Zelda collection is fantastic. I have 70 plus amiibos.
Dang. Yeah, I have a friend
Yeah.
who's, like, hasn't missed one. Do they still do
I
them?
They do still do them. They're not they basically my investment in this is like the definition of sunk cost fallacy. I quite literally will buy them even if I don't play the game that they're from.
Yeah,
But because I'm not a big miniatures guy. Like
sure.
you know me, like I'm not like Tom knows me a lot better than other people on the channel. But Tom knows me. I don't paint miniatures. I'm mainly a card collector,
Mhm.
but I love the concept of Nintendo making figures that do something in the game.
Yeah. Oh,
I've loved it
I
ever
love
since
the idea.
Wii
Yeah.
U. Yeah. the Wii U. They did a great job with them. And there was a lot more amiibo support. But I personally will buy them because I just I feel like it's a good investment in the future. Like it's one of my like long term investments of like like Nintendo is not a dying IP.
No, not in our generation.
and and like some of the amiibos are already stupidly valued. That
Really?
it's just yeah, like,
Damn.
well, I don't keep them in the box though.
Yeah,
That's my
yeah.
thing. I take them out because I want to use them. But like there are some amiibos that are just like $100.
Dang.
They do some reprints every now and then, but it's not like I'm not hoarding them from the
Right,
same angle.
right,
I just like to have the collection. Like I
right.
have all of the
Absolutely.
Fire Emblem ones, I have all of the Pokemon ones. I don't have all the Zelda ones. I've got my prized possession is a Mega Yarn Yoshi. I don't know.
Ooh, yeah, I played that
My
game.
Yeah, my friends got that for me for my birthday one year. It was like my white whale for a while, and they were like, which amiibos don't you have?" And I gave them a list, and they ordered me one. It's like, I mean, I can't even imagine that. I'm buying it for myself. I was not going to pay $200 for it,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like they banded together and they got it for me, and so that's on my top shelf. I'll have to show you.
That's
It's
awesome.
it's
Yeah.
it's beautiful. Like they did such a good job with it. Um, it was a Toys R Us exclusive in the US in like 2014. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that kind of thing.
I
It's
remember
so
when that came out, yeah.
yeah, it's like it's a prized possession of mine just because I'm very sentimental when it comes to gifts, and but I also just it's so cute.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. But so yeah, I've got amiibos in different drawers. So I have like a drawer set up for my amiibos, like the ones that are a little bit too tall for the IKEA drawers.
Mhm.
I have in a separate drawer, but I've got them sorted by like the games. So I've got all the Animal Crossing ones together. I've got all of the Pokemon ones together, Fire Emblem ones together. And when the new games come out, like the new Fire Emblem game, I have all of the Fire Emblem games there. I wish my cards were as sorted as my amiibos were.
If only it were as easy.
I know. But yeah, so tell me about your collection because I
Yeah.
I rambled for a bit there.
No, you're good. Yeah, so you mentioned the BCW.
Yeah,
I'll quickly talk about my comic one. So BCW makes short bin boxes for comics as well in plastic. Uh,
gotcha.
Black plastic that's very similar. It has like the fold over and then the locking on the top. I very quickly moved away from long boxes because those things are stupid heavy. Um, so when I move around my collection, only have to move short boxes, which is really nice. And I stack them about 5 high and have them organized all in these black BCW boxes. With they make dividers as well, so you can uh, like, and we'll get into the label. So I have a label maker, Dymo. Basically, you can print out labels so you don't have to see my terrible handwriting, and I can just uh, print out a label, put it on the tag, and then have a divider for all the comics, and then they're sorted by publisher and then alphabetically. So there's the Boom, the Image, the DC, and the Marvel, and then there's the miscellaneous because I don't have that many of like Dynamite and Dark Horse and IDW. I just I'll collect like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from IDW or Star Wars from Dark Horse, but that's really about it. Some other really random indies that are just very small publishers that I've picked up randomly. They'll all go in that kind of section,
Gotcha.
but mainly it's by those big four: Boom, Image, Marvel, and DC. But
Gotcha.
the collection is uh, becoming very cumbersome, and so basically, what happens is I will go about 3 months, fill up a short box, and then once that's full, I'll then integrate all that into the big collection because just moving because they're stacked 5 high and they're stacked on top of each other. So if I need to get down to one, um, I need to take the four off, and they each probably weigh about like 20 pounds, I'd say, which I mean isn't super heavy, but at the same time, when you're moving a lot of these, it's it becomes a lot. It becomes a workout.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I know how heavy my card ones are, so I can only imagine dense comic book ones.
yeah, yeah. So they're stacked about 5 high, and they're probably about 10 wide. The collection's just about to hit 6,000, I think.
Whew.
Yeah. I mean, I've been collecting comics since
Yeah.
2009. So, a couple breaks here and there, but pretty consistently every week I'm at the comic book store. So,
Yeah.
but having most of it organized, actually, it does feel pretty good. And it is a lot easier to organize, kind of like the amiibos where you're not like one pack is like what 10, 15 cards depending on the game. And
Right.
then comics you're picking up, I pick up like 5 or 6 a week. And then so then it's really just it's not that much to sort, but it's just
Yeah.
larger things to sort.
Yeah, that's exactly the amiibo problem, right?
Yeah.
You have figures that are shaped like random characters, and how do you actually store that?
Right.
Versus,
Right.
like you can't just throw it in a box. It's easy.
No.
It's easy to lose a card.
Yeah.
It's and comics are larger, so it's harder to lose the comic. You just have to deal with the size.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know. If you randomly moved comics in my thing, it would take a long time to find if
Mm,
they were not
gotcha.
organized
Yeah, that's a good
just
point.
because of the
Yeah.
sheer amount of boxes that are in my
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
But
I could see that.
with the cards, I have switched over to a hybrid style. So I've been working on completing a playset for Flesh and Blood. So like if you can play 3 in a deck, there's 3. If you can play 1 because it's legendary, just 1. Um and then basically having so any deck I can just go and build, and making that as easy as possible is kind of the goal. So what I
Yeah.
do is I have and I try it I've gotten it to the point where only keep one CC and one Blitz deck active because it's so easy to then go and build a deck.
Right.
Because once you deconstruct the deck, you just put it back. And so far, we're at Dynasty was set 8, so I can fit a playset of every card in 2 of these BCW 3200 boxes.
Hmm.
So each because there's one in each row.
Got
So
it.
like WTR, Arc, Crew, Monarch are in one. Monarch is a freakishly large set. So the beginning of
Okay.
Monarch actually starts at the end of the row of Crew
Hmm.
to fit, but Crew is smaller, so
Yeah.
it actually works out. But other than that, every set fits in its own row.
Nice. That's really nice. That's good to
And
know.
so then um I have like one hero token, one weapon token, and then so basically it's all in order. And then the only things the Majestics are double sleeved, and then the everything else is single sleeved because I play all my decks double sleeved. So I like having them at least because these are like my playset that I'm going to be playing with. So I want to take care of
Yeah.
these cards, even if they are just commons. So I have them in the perfect fit sleeves upside down, ready to go into an outer sleeve. So that when I'm making my deck, I don't need to do the inner sleeves. I just pull it out, put it in the right outer sleeve for the deck.
So question for you about
Yeah.
that storage method. Do you feel like so my concern with storing cards sleeved upside down is that as time and gravity does its thing, it'll fall out of the inner sleeve. Have you found that to be an issue yet?
Fall.
Or
What do you mean fall out of it?
if the bottom is empty, like
Yeah.
the bottom is I've found that, cards in my collection fall to the bottom of the sleeve if they're single sleeve with the opening at the top. I have this maybe innate fear that if I single sleeve them upside down, that they will fall out
No. No. No.
and land on the bottom. Okay.
No. Has happened 0 times.
Okay. That's just my that then maybe that's just
Yeah.
my superstition of a perfect maybe the perfect fits are a lot better than
The using the perfect fits, they really don't go anywhere. The only downside and problem I have is sometimes they will stick to the one behind it.
mm,
And so sometimes I'll end up with like 4 of a copy instead of 3 because one got stuck to the other one. But that doesn't happen that much, and it's not that big of a deal. Because when you pick it
gotcha.
up, you're only picking up a couple cards this way.
Right.
So you'll just feel it in your hand if it's stuck.
Got it. Okay.
But
Cool.
so basically, right now I can open up two of those BCW boxes and build any deck, and just like have the like go to a table, go to the dining room table, put those two boxes down. That's the other thing. I've the cheat code to sorting. Do it on a table. Just having that
Yeah.
extra space just to set those random piles down is so helpful, opposed to like because I used to do it on my desk, and it was just
Yeah.
then I still have I have one I can look at one, two, three, four different piles of random cards on my decks. Five.
That is a low number compared to what I'm staring at right now.
But no, Gary, this is after
Yeah.
spending the majority of
That's
yesterday
yeah.
organizing.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay.
this is where it's gotten to from
That's great.
cleaning it
That's
up.
a
That these are five new piles from last night.
awesome.
But to be fair, I built two decks last night and started two Flesh and Blood decks I reworked last night, and two Magic decks I started building. But and also I was sorting a bunch. When I was sorting, I every time without fail when I sort bulk, I find cold foils.
Yeah, it's unavoidable.
This time was a Quicksilver Dagger.
Oh, okay.
But happy with that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, the idea of knowing that I can just open these two boxes, build any deck I want, and then know like if there's cards missing, it's in one of my active decks. And if I
That's
only
really nice.
have two
Yeah.
active decks, then it really doesn't like because there's a lot of cards that you play in multiple decks, like Command and Conquer, which I only have one playset of. I'm not switching those. the
Yeah.
like but like sink belows and
Mhm.
pummels or just like all those generic fate for scenes like those are either in your deck and then but I also have all of my bulk organized in the cardboard BCWs so that if I do need that extra set I can just go in and grab it there and it's not too hard to find.
Yeah, that's a great way to do it. I literally just have all my Majestics and Legendaries in, like, a long box together,
Yeah.
and I just dig through it. You know what I mean? I need to I could
Well, yeah.
definitely take some tips from you for sure.
And I don't know, it's one of those things where it it's preventative sorting, I guess.
Yeah.
So like it
Yeah,
helps you stay on track and helps you keep things where they need to be.
absolutely. Yeah,
And
I
then
like
all
it.
my extra stuff is all my extra super rare and above is in a trade binder that I bring with me to events and stuff. But the yeah, it's just become super easy to build decks, which is the main goal because as you know, I do not like to stay on the same I like to say that I'm going to stay on the same deck for a long time and then switch next week.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've bounced around between how many decks in the past 4
I
months?
mean, at least in the last 4 weeks I've played, you've been on Arachne, Dash, and
Dory.
Dorinthia,
Yeah.
so yeah, like, 3 different decks,
Yeah.
and that's just for that game.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
yeah.
My I do not want to talk about the organization of my other card games. That is
Yeah. Yeah. Well, my One Piece organization is I have all of my cards in a in a secret lair box, and that's it.
mine is I
But,
have my starter deck in Pokemon ETB.
there you go. So then
But
how do you want your collection to be sorted then?
so I've been going through because I guess the other part of the uh BCW bin is BCW
Mhm.
also sells card dividers.
Mm.
And so you can like for 14 bucks you can get 100 of these things. They're cheap. And with the label maker, I can do so it has like it says Fab, WTR, Brute, and then uh, on the top of the card from the label maker. And then so each class in each set, there's a different divider. So it makes it super easy to just like go to that spot, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I found that, like, the ones that they send the dividers with, they like, I want about 100 more of those. So,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
feel like, yeah, if you just pick up a bunch,
yeah, and
that
they're
would
the
be a
right
really great
height
way.
all along,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
so you can. on the with the label maker, just make the little label and then uh, make it small enough so that it is fully visible above the card, which is awesome. I'll send a picture and I'll post it in the Discord.
Yeah,
But I'm planning on
it
making a whole video on it of like the different products I use and what uh, how it comes out. But it may be obsolete because I may have I don't know. I just really love organizing my collection. And what I've been thinking about doing is because of how heavy these things are and they are to move around, I don't know, this will probably it's bouncing back and forth between how easy it is to build a deck and making sure that you actually visibly can see that you have a complete set, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, what are you missing? Like, because it's easy to go into the bin and find the cards, but it's not easy to see what you're missing. So, what I was thinking about doing was getting a binder for each set,
Mhm.
and then,
Yep.
but putting the three copies in the same slot.
Yeah, so I actually did a similar thing. I got really into the binder sorting.
Yeah,
Um, and I did it so I actually have a few classes sorted into binders, but it's just your commons and rares.
yeah,
Because I felt that, like, the Majestics I would be using more frequently, and this was more like the binders were more like archival storage.
sure,
Does that make sense? Of
yeah,
like, oh, if somebody needs to borrow, like, I don't know, 3 Read the Runes, like, I just have a binder of 3 Read the Runes somewhere,
yeah,
you know? Um, because I found that the hardest part about managing a collection is like, "Oh, do you have this common?" Right? Like, yeah, probably.
yeah.
You know?
Well,
It's somewhere.
that's where my bulk sorted
Yeah.
boxes come in.
Yeah,
But I'm
I
thinking for like my play set, like whether
got
I
you.
want to keep it in these
Yeah.
BCW boxes, like the
Mm,
plastic bins
I see what you mean.
divided, or if I want to put like have a WTR binder and then
Yeah,
you can go to each page and like the whole thing's in there. Because right now I have all of my legendaries and fables and stuff in uh like a really nice binder. But
gotcha.
do I want to, because I don't want to put those in the bin, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. I prefer having them all together, like in case of a fire kind of thing. Grab it, run out of the house. Like that's what I'm grabbing.
Yeah.
but
For sure, yeah.
but at the same time, it'd be nice to have it like in the play sets. But I don't know. That's where my follow up of how I would like it to be organized, and it's more of like I haven't decided if that's how I want it to be organized because I'm almost to the point like I have everything set now except for Dynasty in the bins.
Hmm. Yeah, that sounds like a great,
And
that
it's
sounds
kind
like
of
a great
like
plan,
a
yeah.
turning point because outsiders will start the third bin.
And it's gonna be really hard to sort outsiders too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's gonna be like a monarch pain in the butt.
Yeah. Oh, do you want Shadow Brute, or do you want Brute, or do you want Shadow, or do you want
Yeah. Or do you want
Oh,
hybrid or do you want
you want yeah, yeah, I know, that's
like
whew,
are the hybrids gonna have their own sections? Like the
yeah.
assassin
Yeah.
ranger hybrid section, assassin ninja hybrid section?
Honestly, like, at that point, I almost just want 9 of each card and just put
Just one for each.
this is for assassins, this one's
Yeah.
for rangers, this one's
Yeah.
for ninja, just not to have to worry about it, but yeah, that's gonna be a real beast.
Yeah. But I don't know. I plan on putting out a video going over all the products I use and how I've gotten to the point, or how I've constructed this organization method because I think it could help a lot of people out. And then, but one of the biggest things and what took a lot of time was pulling the bulk out. But once you get it down to that, like just a playset level, the sets aren't actually that overwhelming,
Yeah.
and it makes it that much more. You just don't have that many cards on the table while you're trying to put together a deck. You
Yeah,
have to move less stuff around.
that's a great point, and it helps that you can only play certain types of cards in your decks, right? The generics are always gonna be in and out, but
Right.
the, the classes are like, okay, you want to do it by a class because like you know that okay, I can
Yeah,
only
that's a
play
whole nother
warriors.
idea. Like, do I
Yeah.
do I move things around by class? Because right now they're by set.
Yeah. It's almost like you want to have like an overarching warrior binder, right? But
Right.
then it's like this section Dorinthia and Kasai can play, and then this section Bolton can play.
Well,
You know?
it would be
Yeah.
broken up into warrior and light warrior because those
Right.
are the only two right now. But then
Right.
there would be because I was when I was organizing my trade binder, I did something similar with like when I got to ninja, there's the ninja cards and then there's the draconic ninja cards. So
Yeah.
it's like they're separated by they're in the same section. So that's yeah, that I have my trade binder by class. So that because that makes sense because like when people are looking to trade, they're usually looking for a grouping of cards for a class.
Yeah. For
But
sure.
when it comes to collection, yeah, I don't know if it would make more sense to then do that by class as well. But then that gets really confusing.
Yeah.
And then it's even harder to be like, all right, do I have everything? Because then you have to look up. I don't know. It's there's no right or wrong answer. I'm just trying to find the
Yeah, that's what the section's about. Like, what do
yeah,
you want?
yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, what's your goal? Doesn't mean you're actually gonna get there.
No, absolutely not. It's and you're never
Yeah.
going to because you're never going to be happy with it. Because as soon as you finish, or about 3/4 of the way through your organization, you will find a better way and figure out, be like, man, I should have done it this way, and then you aren't going to do that way, so you move it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. It's so true. I just got like a hat holder for my hats that I wear because
Mm,
I collect a lot of different like the hats from different vendors or different shops that I go to,
hmm
and like I'm like, how do I sort these hats? Do I sort them by type? Do I sort them by color? Do I sort them by audience that would actually get the hat that I'm wearing?
yeah,
You know, it's yeah. As collectors, we really have to balance like what the the actual usefulness of the way we sort.
yeah,
Kind of get into the we get so into the minutia of what the collection is, we forget what makes sense.
yeah. Like, why are you doing this? Like, why do you
Yeah.
need this organized?
Yeah.
Because I want to build decks, or because I want to make sure I have a complete collection. Like, you have to weigh those things out for yourself. And also, I mean, I'm sure you will most people when they get into something don't assume that they will instantly have a ton of it. So, as
Right.
your collection, if you have a small collection, it may make sense to organize it one way, where as it grows, it
Hmm.
may make sense to then change it again.
Yeah, I have a friend who, when he first started getting into card games, he distinctly organized his stuff by an alphabetical order and by set number. And like he just started, like he just got into it.
Hmm
And if you start with that trend and you start off in that way, it actually is really helpful because you've trained yourself. The problem is once you've played 100 different games and you don't have a full-fledged sorting method, you kind of have to rebuild the government.
Yeah, yeah.
figure out what policy you're going to follow. Um, and I tried to wrap my brain around my friend's sorting method, but
So
it's
wait,
so
it's
effective. It's
what's
so effective.
explain it? It's
So for Magic, right?
yeah,
When we yeah, he just sorts by set number.
right.
Like he just does it in that order.
Yeah,
Um,
by
and
set and then
and
by the
that's
number because
yeah,
they're
but
by color by default.
and they're in alphabetical order.
Are they
Well, for Magic they are
really?
because and Flesh and Blood I think too because I think that's how that people get cards crunched in like reprint sets. So like if you're trying to figure out if Force of Will is in a set, right? And
Yeah,
you look at the blue set number, you can tell that if H I J K A B C D E F if the set number if there's two set numbers between E and G that are back to back, you know that there's no cards that have the letter start with the letter F.
interesting. I did not realize the alphabet
Yeah.
thing for Magic.
Yeah. So it's really confusing for people who have never done it that way.
Yeah. I mean,
And
that's
if
how
you
I sorted Magic. But I just did by
yeah,
set number.
yeah. But by set number should
You
be by alphabetical order. Yeah.
right, exactly.
which is like kind crazy. Like if I
In
have
each color though, the
yeah
alphabet set
yeah in each
resets
color.
each color.
Yeah, they don't make the white cards A through
Yeah,
F, you know,
only named
but
A. White is only named A through B. Blue is only
yes,
named.
yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it's I think Flesh and Blood is like that too, but from a rarity angle.
Oh, it resets on rarity.
I think so. Yeah. I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't want to tell all your followers
Oh no,
to the wrong thing about Flesh and Blood,
there
but
are only facts
um
on this channel. Only
yeah,
facts.
only facts for sure. But Magic is like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um
interesting.
yeah, I kind of wish that my collect honestly, I wish my collection had less Magic cards in it.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. Even
That's my goal for 2023 is to, you know, keep the cards that I want and not have 12 rows of bulk. Because I
yeah,
don't, you know,
yeah.
I don't need that anymore. It I think one key thing about playing card games is and we alluded to it a little bit earlier in the beginning is like knowing what your investment level is.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
you know, as you play different games that those levels change. And, you know, for me right now, my collection is way too heavily focused on Magic cards and like frankly, a little bit too many board games. I have a lot that I don't play, you know?
Right.
And so like you kind of have to goal for my collection honestly is to figure out some sort of cycle for myself to purge in
Hmm.
a good way. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like not necessarily like sell out of everything or you
a
know it's
spring
all going to
cleaning.
zero. Like it's a spring cleaning, right? Like I do this thing in July. There's a board game auction in DC.
Hmm.
Maybe Iron Watchdog. He's from Baltimore, but
Yeah, yeah.
there's a board game auction called at Labyrinth Games in DC, and Page's brothers live in DC, and I take my board games down there, and I say, oh, I haven't played you in like 2 years. It's not you're not like a top shelf, but you're not like you know if it's a game that I haven't played in a long time and there's no need for me to actually have it, I will
Right,
take it to the
right.
board game auction. Um, and you know, you get a few bucks out of that. It's a great way to buy new board games, right?
Hmm. Sure.
um, and that for me has worked really well. I think I need to do, and it's easy to do that with something that's so big, right? Like a board game, that kind of
Right.
thing. I need to figure out how to do that with cards. You know, bulk is really hard to manage. Um, and you know I find that as I collect more I the burden of collection like you said like for me I'm at a turning point in personally where I need to figure out the balance of collecting and loving what I have,
Yeah.
you know. There's a certain like when I think about my amiibo collection it makes me really happy, you know. It's the spark joy thing, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
the kind of
Absolutely. Yeah. Does
you
it
kind
spark
of
joy?
right. Doesn't spark joy. Like every time I look at my little figures, I say, "Oh man, I remember back in 2014 when these things came out and people were losing their goddamn minds."
Yeah.
It's just like looking at them makes me so happy.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely. Yeah.
and
I
so
mean,
like
there's a ton of comics that I have up around the house that aren't. They're worth like maybe what 10, $15 now, and
yeah,
even though they've been out for years, but they're just variant covers that remind me of a certain time in my life and
yep,
are characters that I love and mean a lot.
yeah. Exactly. And that's I think that's the hardest part I think for a collector is finding that bridge between this makes me happy and this is something that I want to like there's a different level between an investment and like an investment in sentimental value and
Hmm.
investment in financial value.
Absolutely.
Um and like I feel like collectors have this ever balancing you know sway of oh I want to own this I want to own 20 of this card because it's going to go up in the future, but like should I own 20 of this card, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Right. Right.
that's
Hey,
like
is
the
that a
check you kind of
Pikachu
have to
call
do,
out?
right? No, because
Should
that's
I
the
own
thing,
20
right?
sleeping Pikachus? Yes. Yes, I
No,
should.
you yes you should like should I own a hundred foil rune chance?
Yes.
Probably yes I should.
Yeah.
You know like for me that's
I
like
found four
that
more while sorting. by the way, if you
Oh,
need
hell yeah. Yeah,
it.
absolutely. Yes. I need you to sign one for sure.
Okay.
But yeah, that's my goal for my collection is to be happy with it,
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
know? And I'm at a place where I've I'm getting a little older and I'm finding that my collection, because I don't have kids, because I don't have many obligations, like I own a lot of things or I
Yeah,
buy things
sure.
because I like them. But over the years, like I go through cycles of, do I like this anymore?
Mhm.
And certain things I just don't, you know?
Yeah,
And I don't see them
absolutely.
as, I don't have I keep some parts of it, and that becomes sort of an artifact of your history. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Your history of the game that you play, or of a friend, or
Yeah, or, like, cards like Yorick, where, like, we
yes,
got that by going
exactly,
to the first Pro Tour together, and it was just,
exactly.
like, that is a card I will never sell.
Yep. Like I have Magic cards that I like. I got a Borderless Force of Will
Mhm.
foil when I got my first big job. Like
Nice.
when I left my job at food service, I and got a job in marketing. Like I bought that card for myself because that's like a signpost card in my life where like this is an expensive card. I
Mhm.
got a I got a nice job. I can move. I can, I can play this. I can own this card. This is more of like a trophy that I've put value on, right?
Absolutely.
Like, and that no matter how high that card goes, no matter how low that card goes, that card stays in my collection because I did that. I made that choice, right?
Right.
So I guess I don't have a necessarily a specific sorting method, but I have this mindset of what of balance of where I want to be, and I think that's ever shifting, and you're never truly going to get there. But if you're feeling better about your collection, whether that's because you have more of a certain type of game or less of a certain type of game, or it looks nice, I think whatever signpost we set as collectors is really important, and I think the value should be placed heavily on what makes you happy and what's effective for you, right? Like what
Yeah.
you were speaking to is is great because like if your collection makes you happy, you're able to build a deck quicker. That means you have an effective collection.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and my what makes me happy is those 2 boxes. All the
Yep.
other bulk boxes, I they what makes me happy about those is when new players come along and need new cards. Need
Yep.
cards, just like commons, random stuff, like instead of waiting 2 weeks for TCG player to get it to you.
Exactly.
you
Right.
can
Yeah.
you
Yep.
can, just be like, hit us up in the Discord or on the
Yep.
store Discord or wherever. Like there's tons of trading channels. Just like let us know. We'll bring it in and
Yep.
it's not a big deal.
That's
I'd rather
exactly how I
like
feel.
I want
Yeah.
those to go to new players. Um, and I have boxes and boxes upon things for when new players
Hmm.
come into the shop. But
Yeah.
I just need a little heads up so that I can grab it. But now, most besides Dynasty and half of Uprising, uh, I opened way too much Uprising, by the
Oh, me too.
way.
Oh God, me too. And it was all horrible.
Yeah. Um,
Mine was. Not everybody's was, but
no, mine was okay. Mine was okay. Um, not the greatest, but I was happy
yeah.
with it. I opened up almost every legendary,
Nice.
but
I opened like 3 and 4 cases.
yeah,
It was not great.
that's not great. The what else? But yeah, it's basically just like I would be comfortable having my collection just be uh the playable set.
Yeah.
And then uh I enjoy like I collect there's not a lot of value in them, but I really enjoy collecting the LGS promos, like going every week, getting them,
Yeah.
just throwing them all in. Like I have those like separate. They're all in top loaders and I just flip through them every once in a while.
I
And
have a
then
friend
it's
who
one of those things that
yeah.
it just reminds you of the different time periods of
Yeah.
playing Flesh and Blood. Like looking back to like the Macho Grande. Like it just like you think about that time period and then you're just like, "Oh, I remember that time."
Yep. I have a friend who, when he gets a promo, he just takes a little sticky note, puts the card in the binder, and puts the his like record.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. It's like everybody has these like learned behaviors, and it's really fascinating to me to see how different people interact with the
Yeah.
game, and different games.
Yeah. And
I
if
wish.
your collection is causing you stress, you should take a step back, realize where
Hmm.
that stress is coming from, and maybe that's the trigger and the push you need
Yep.
to get rid of some of it.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much you guys have talked about getting rid of cards, but
Well, I
that's
mean,
kind of
that's what
I
yeah.
found that that helps me. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well, I mean that was part of the push, and well, one to help grow the channel. We is what we because all the money from TCG players really just going into the business, and so we can
Yeah.
make better content.
Right.
And so that's what really pushed us is like we found all these cards that we now have in our collection that don't spark joy that we don't
Yeah.
necessarily need anymore. Well, there's one that we have for sale that does spark joy, which is my Valiant Dynamo's rainbow foil that I played with for a very long time. That is up there, but it is only up there because I got the cold foil. So,
Yeah.
but I don't know. It's one of those things where like I have another one. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine, right?
Yeah, but I don't know. It's fun. It's funny. But at the end of the day, it's a hobby, and should bring you joy. If it is not,
Exactly.
maybe we go outside and we touch some grass.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anything else you want to touch on? I know we're a little past our hour mark here.
Oh, I'm feeling great, man. I'm happy to talk about, you know, just talk about games, talk about what I want to do in life with my games and
I don't know. I think it's a fun
yeah.
topic. It's a fun hobby.
Yeah.
Because like, okay, so we'll go a little long. When I got into Magic again in like 2019, I started with binders, and I was that binder guy.
Mhm.
But I was more so even back then. I was really only playing Commander because I
Gotcha.
got in like that's how I was reintroduced to Magic because I hadn't played since I was in high school, and my collector uh, trigger sparked because I saw the Ultra Pro binders that are themed for each set.
Uh
So I would get the set binder and then put one of each card in the binder. So I have full sets from like Throne of Eldraine till the D&D set is when I stopped. And so like just flipping through the Kaldheim binder and being able to see all those cards is very I don't know. That sparks joy. But
yeah.
I don't know. And I would really like to do that. That's the one downside to the bins is and the plus side to maybe moving them to the binder is it'd be really cool just to like flip through a binder and see all the WTR cards, see all the art cards instead of just
Yeah.
like one at a time flipping through it, kind of like uh long
At a
box.
shop or
Yeah,
something, yeah.
you're
Yeah, it
just
feels more like a record store, like a comic book
right,
store then. You
exactly.
feel like it feels more like, you're going to a store rather than looking at a collection.
Right. But then, like, what if they discontinue the binder that I chose to use? How do I label the binders? Do I have to find different colors for the binders? Like, what color is WTR? Brown. Who makes a brown binder, but then also makes a purple binder for Arcane? And then, like, so Flesh and Blood, LSS, if you're listening all the way at the end of this podcast, binders, please, binders. And if you do, go back and do the original binders so that someone can have a set of completely filled out Flesh and Blood binders. That would be cool. I would switch to binders if LSS came out with binders.
Yeah, it'd be look nice on the shelf.
Yeah. Because that's what I
Almost
really
like
like about the Magic binders is like you can look at the spines and then just like see just like a glimpse into all the different realms and worlds and planes.
yeah. Yeah, they do a good job with that. That's for sure.
They're not the greatest binders, but they're fine. What's funny though is if you don't get it when they come out, they instantly like double in price.
Because they only they just release them for each set, and then you're
Yeah.
like, "Okay,
Yeah.
moving on."
Yeah. But then you'll randomly find and then you can tell how popular a set is by if the binder is still in stock.
Yeah, I like a miniature market. I used to buy just like random binders from there, and you could always
Mhm.
see which set, which they would have
Yeah,
like a clearance
which
sale.
binders on sale, yeah.
Yeah,
But I don't know. I'm excited and hopeful looking forward with Flesh and Blood and the road we're going down because I know
yeah,
we have when it comes obviously for the game, but when it comes to like other products and stuff, because of I got really excited when they announced the Tolarian College partnership thing and that they're working on more Flesh and Blood products, like game
Mm,
products.
maybe they're doing deck boxes.
That's what I'm thinking because maybe they're doing Flesh and Blood themed versions of the new deck box that the professor made.
That would be nuts. I would love that because I got
Would
one.
you
I
use
got one
that or the
ordered. Yeah.
purple one?
Well, I would use the purple one for the purple guy, but if Viscerai one, I would
Yeah,
buy the Viscerai one, and I
right.
would yeah. I don't know.
Well, no, it
That's
would just
another
be
thing.
like a generic Flesh and I'm thinking it would be like a Flesh and Blood branded, not like a character branded.
Oh, I was thinking they would do character branded like they did with Dragon Shield.
That I feel like with it's easier to do that with sleeves than with deck boxes though.
Mm.
Like
Yeah, that's a good
I
point.
don't think you want to
Yeah,
enter the market. Like the secondary market on that would be stupid
yeah,
because
that's
I
a
feel
good
like
point.
people would go crazy over the specific hero or like
Yeah,
whatever heroes in because then you would need one for every hero.
you would. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could speculate forever on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. That's a whole nother podcast. Flesh
Yeah.
and Blood deck boxes. But maybe it's binders. I hope it's binders. I don't know. That'd be cool.
Yeah, now you got the gears turning.
Yeah. But all right. Well, I don't want to hang up or I don't want to take up any more of your time. Is there
No,
anything
it's
else
good.
you wanted
No,
to
I'm good. I'm good, man.
plug?
I had a great time just hanging out, talking. I love talking about cards.
Cool.
I've totally like when you asked me about my collection, I was like, "Oh yeah, cards, board games," and I looked behind me and I was like, "Oh yeah, figures too." I
Yeah.
forgot.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
totally forgot about that part of my collection
Yeah.
because I just in drawers,
Oh,
Um,
sure. Yeah. I
you know what I
mean,
mean?
like we have it's my collections have now taken up most of the upstairs of our house. Like our office that we work in, the entire closet is filled with cards.
Yeah.
The hobby room that we have is full of cosplay stuff and comic books. And then the guest room has now been invaded by the miniatures, and we put a desk in there.
Well, that's
Because
where all the miniatures live.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, if you want to come stay over and do a little painting at midnight, can't sleep, the desk is right there. But
Love that.
yeah,
Love that.
it's fun. I need to get back and do some painting, but my current goal right now is to get caught up on sorting and everything before Outsiders, which may seem foolish, but
You
we
got a
shall
you got
see.
a month.
I know,
So
but I don't have a month of free weekends. So
well, start the clock.
yeah, yeah. I'll probably be doing some more of that later today after I get those magic decks built.
Yeah. I'm gonna draft some WTR today, so that's exciting. I'm gonna head down
Yeah,
to Dark Depths
enjoy. That'll
shortly.
be fun.
But but yeah, anything else you want to talk about? Or you good to
I'm
go?
I'm good. I'm good.
Awesome.
So make sure you go check out Gary, Mr. Viz, Fresh and Buds podcast. Blood Rush Bellows. Go subscribe. And then tune in this week because I'm going to be doing the market update and both for Pokemon and for Flesh Blood because John's away. So the cats will play. And I'll probably open something, do a quick like uh 500 subscriber thing. We did not think this came very fast. We were at like not even 400 like 2 weeks ago, and now here we are at 500. So
Yeah.
if you are one of those new subscribers joining us and have made it to the end of the podcast, thank you for listening. We appreciate you. Welcome. Um, and until next week, I guess we'll catch you guys later.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have you again soon.
Thanks.